Okay.
We are live.
Oh, we are.
Awesome. Yes. Hello, everyone in Reclaim. I am honored to welcome Ann Duffy here today. Thank you so much, Ann, for taking time out of your busy schedule to visit with us today.
Oh, Laura, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm so glad we met, and I'm loving what you're doing, and so it's just fun to have a little chat today.
Yes, yes. And it's hard for me whenever I talk with you and we say the word doing, I think of do life, right? Doing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and that's really one of the main things that Ann does. But we're going to get into that in a moment. First, I want to just talk about how amazing she is. First of all, she has been a dental hygienist for 45 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is incredible. How did you know that you wanted to go into hygiene? What's your origin story with hygiene?
Really simple. I was lucky enough to go to the dentist every 6 months when I was growing up. And I remember it being in high school, and my dentist and the hygienist came in when I was having a recare appointment. They said, "Oh, you should be a dental hygienist." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds good," because I wanted to go to Ohio State. And I'm one of 5 kids, and I had to have a plan. And I was just shy of the time when women were going into business and engineering and those kinds of things. I mean, everyone that I knew at Ohio State, from the female standpoint, was teaching, nursing, occupational therapy, dental hygiene. That was it, basically. So, and it's been a great career for me. I still practice a half a day a week. Haven't gone back yet. I go back in September. So but I love it. I love everything about it.
That's awesome. And this is even more, we were just visiting about this, and I said that she should get a Medal of Honor for this, because in the beginning you moved a lot.
Yeah.
And you ended up taking 6 state boards.
Yeah. 6. I know. It was crazy. And it's funny thing, Laura, I never thought not to take one. Every time Tom and I moved, and he was with a big chemical company, we would move and, get the paperwork, get the patient, would have to learn the laws of the state. And 6 of them under my belt. Oh, I love it.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, you could probably give a course on how to take state boards, right?
Probably not. I'll leave that to Claire Jean and Katrina Sanders for dental hygiene. They're the experts there. I just think mostly how I got through that was just a lot of grit. And, again, it was my profession. I never, I just didn't occur to me to give that up. So,
right.
Yeah.
And then you worked in a bunch of different offices during that transitionary time. And tell me how that shaped you.
I think it shaped me because of, knowing the different procedures and protocols in the offices, and just the struggles the dentist had. So as I grew, into my profession and then moving to North Carolina, I met a guy he was starting a new publication called Dental Entrepreneur, Business Beyond the Classroom. And I had a love for the young dentist, because most of the guys, and honestly, I've never worked for a female dentist.
Really?
So, yeah, never have. The opportunity, wasn't my choice. I just never had the opportunity. But I have a love for the dentist. And so when the opportunity came to work with Dental Entrepreneur, Business Beyond the Classroom, going to all the dental schools and the young dentist, I think the passion I had behind that just has kept me in that game for 20 years. We've been publishing that for 20 years. Yeah. The business side. Yeah.
And, I remember that coming across my desk early on in my career, and I loved that magazine because it just gave a different perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like Business 101. We try to keep it really simple, but I go back to the old magazines too, Laura, and they're timeless. I mean, it's when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So we can say it a lot of different ways, but most of what we talk about in that publication is leadership, relationships, balance. I know you're really into the balance of life. That's so important to have a full life. And if you don't manage the business side, you really can't practice the excellent dentistry you want to practice. I think that's really important.
Right. So true. And I love, just in the title, Beyond the Classroom, because we didn't learn any of this in school.
Yeah. And they're still not really learning any in school. I mean, a class here or there, practice management, lunch and learn. And I've always thought that was so strange. But when you talk to the deans, they don't have time. They feel like they really don't have time to put that in. So it's on the young graduate to figure it out.
Right.
And interestingly enough, right? I mean, it's so complicated now. I mean, COVID is just another layer.
Right.
But, you know, back in the day, I mean, you put your shingle out and you know, hope you had a good location.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's just the minutia, and the public, I think, you know, that's another thing that we need to inform the public about, what they go through, why a crown is so expensive. Mm-hmm. Why an implant? So because of all the stuff they have to do to get ready for that. I mean, it's just the enormous insurance that they have to have, the paperwork. I mean, we go on and on. So,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
Yes, it is really. It can be something that can seem very big, but it's nice to have a publication like that where you realize you're not alone.
Yeah,
and there's other people trying to figure it out too.
Yeah, you realize you're not alone, and you realize that there are experts out there that want to help. Mm-hmm. You know, my message is, you know, read us and then reach out to the authors, and, you know, find your mentors, and if somebody resonates with you, and all of those wonderful things that can enhance your career.
Right. Yeah. So important. So then from the dental entrepreneurial was born Dental Entrepreneurial Woman, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit of how that came about.
Well, it came about because in the process of doing Dental Entrepreneur and working 2 days a week in a dental office, I also joined a company that was direct sales with toothpaste and mouth rinse and chlorine dioxide base. So I was all over that. I mean, my God, it just, you know, it eliminated halitosis. I had a fresh breast center. I look back on it and think, oh yeah, well, that seemed like the normal thing to do, right? So I knew so many different women, especially in dental. So I built the biggest team. It's a leadership, you know, it's a networking company. So I had the biggest team of female dental professionals in the company. Wow. And it was always about personal development and leadership and success. Mm-hmm. So, and then with Dental Entrepreneur, I knew the authors. And then I knew the speakers that were wanting to write. And then I knew the marketing people, you know, because I was also selling ads and for the magazine. So I knew so many different career paths of females in dentistry and people in dentistry. And I love men. I mean, we've got plenty of dudes in our group too. But I had been hearing so much, and it was really a course of about a year that it just, you know, really got to me that the women the women that I knew weren't getting the same speaking gigs, the same money, the same consulting fees. They weren't getting the promotions. And one day, and I remember it was a Thursday afternoon, and it's coming up. Oh, it's July 18th. It was 4 years ago. Wow, anniversary. I was talking to one of my dear friends. I'd been working with her for 20 years in a marketing segment of a big company. And she just had her review, and she was just berated and belittled. And they said her smile wasn't sincere. And I'm like, what the heck? You're the most sincere person I know. She has a heart of gold. She's sharp as really does a great job. I just literally hung the phone up and said, that's it. I'm starting a magazine to highlight women in dentistry. Oh. I mean, literally just hung it up. And, you know, didn't give much thought to it, but I was at the attorneys that Monday. That was a Thursday, attorneys on Monday morning, you know, and set the whole thing up. And it was about highlighting women so that people would know how great the women in dentistry are and that we deserve the same promotions, same opportunities. This was before Me Too movement, right? Yeah. And as we started to develop our mission with Do, and by the way, I called it Dental Entrepreneur Woman strictly because I wanted a sister publication to Dental Entrepreneur. I mean, I came up with that on the back porch with my husband. We were having a cocktail and I was like, I think I'll just call it Do. And to your point earlier, so much fun because we just do it, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing it. We do it together. And it's just been a great word to use when you're starting a movement. But, you know, it was just highlight women. Yeah, that's great. But let's inspire them, right? Mm-hmm. Let's empower them. And then also show them why they want to be empowered and how they can be empowered. Because I think that's a missing for a lot of women. Yeah, we want to do it, but, you know, can we? Right. And then the most important thing to me now is just connecting all of you in dentistry, all the women in different career paths, so that we appreciate each other and that together we can raise all women in dentistry. And that's just the goal I have. It's a small goal, but it's important. It's important.
It's better than a small goal. It's a beautiful goal. I absolutely love it. And I think that now, especially with everything that dentistry is going through, especially for hygienists, we were just visiting about how hygienists are really having a hard time with COVID. I mean, this is a tough time for them. And to have a movement where you highlight what women are doing, inspire and connect, because sometimes you just need to talk to somebody, or you just need to see someone that's 2 steps ahead of you and know that you can do it too, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, I like to say call a do. You have those days and it's like, and that's why it was kind of cool when you connect somebody. I remember connecting you with Karen, right? And so like, you're having a bad day, you say, oh, well, I'll call Karen up. And I always feel better when I get off the phone with a do, because do's have some principles that are like we were talking earlier, right? I mean, in the dental profession, and I've said this before, you have to be smart to get through the curriculum. You have to be a go-getter, because, in dental hygiene and assisting, I mean, they can't, the doctors can't work without the assistants. We can't work without the sterilization. The front desk, there's so many important pieces, and it's 95% women. So why are we not running everything? I mean, when you think about it, you look at the boardrooms and there's very, very few companies that have a woman on the board and around the table, or any women, or more than one. So it's not like we want to replace the men. Yeah, they're great, but let's sit there with you and see if we can make some changes, make some decisions, that are ergonomically. I mean, that's just one lane. Think about ergonomics. The women are different than men. We sit differently. Our hands are different. There's, all of these little things. That's just one little segment.
Right.
That, hope to make a difference.
Right.
By getting more women empowered and in positions to make these decisions for all of us.
Yes, I love that. That's so, there's so many different issues, you're right, that are different for women in the profession. And we should be in those roles where we are helping shape what's going on because of all the women in the profession, right? Makes sense.
And that's why I love sharing the stories about females in dentistry. It's funny. When I first started, my girlfriend thought I was going to your balance, issue, and the love that you have for balance. We all love balance, but she thought I was going to have a nervous breakdown because I was a one woman show with On a Mission, right? So she was helping me, and she thought some of the stories were boring, and I'm like, these aren't boring at all to me. I love hearing how somebody got from A to Z in our field, and because that inspires other women that are sitting there. And we were talking about is there a glass ceiling? Well, there are some, but what's the other opportunities outside of the operatory, along in the operatory? Again, I'm still practicing, I still love the profession, that can actually use all your gifts and all your strengths and not keep you in a small confined space. So how did I loved hearing your story, Laura. How did you do it? How did you get where you are today, and the love that you have for what you're doing with your mission and your vision for the rest of your life, and how you can contribute to all of us, the world, right?
Yep. Well, and it's like we were just talking about before, I've never met a hygienist or an assistant that wasn't a go-getter. I mean, serious high achievers.
Office managers too. I mean, right?
Yes, take such pride and have such passion in what they do. And yet at some point they reach this and it's just sort of the end of the road. And yet they want to do more. They have this desire. And to have a group of women, entrepreneurial women, to join and say, oh, I could do that. Or, ooh, that, I have an idea. Let me talk to a do, right?
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
And, a lot of women say, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, and so I don't know if I'm a do. And what I want to say is that the only reason I called it, again, Dental Entrepreneur Woman, is because I wanted the sister publication. And all women are entrepreneurial because we all spin so many plates. So,
Sure.
it just, how do you make your career better? And I think in leadership, for so many females graduating in dentistry, in fact, 62% of Tufts graduating class this year are female. And so across the board, it's 52%. So when they get into those positions as a dentist, as a female dentist, how do you give your team, which are going to be 97% female, how do you give them the opportunity to grow? And I really think that, I was so happy that I joined the company that I joined, because I wouldn't have even known that I could have written a vision and had it and seen it to fruition, and then write another one. And it didn't even occur to me. I was just, playing tennis and eating lunch when we moved here, and then, got into the profession. And then somebody lit that fire under me that there's way more to me than what there is walking from one side of the operatory to the other. It's almost like you're in the zoo and you're walking back and forth, but you hear that so much from the females working in the offices. And then also, I want them to understand what's on the shoulders of the dentist. And Do has really opened my eyes, Laura. I was a little bit more Aaron Brockovich about blah, 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 we should all get raises and we should all, they're just keeping all the money to themselves. Oh yeah, that's not true. That's not true for the majority, but we have to spread that message and spread that word that, you female dentists are amazing, because you're not only running a business and responsible for every team member's financial gain or whatever, you're also making sure the kids are getting picked up from soccer and what they're having for dinner. And I mean, you could name 10 things that you're doing, that you were doing when you were running a full-blown business as a dental practice, which is not easy to do when it's not easy to do when you only have one thing to do, which is usually what the men have, one laser focused,
Exactly. Well, and I think that it's so wonderful what you said too about giving your team opportunities to grow, because that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned, was that team members that had growth mindset were the best team members. Yeah. And yet, if you don't give them those opportunities, those team members with that growth mindset start to get pretty unhappy. They don't feel fulfilled. And yes, as a female practice owner, tons of responsibilities, but when you have a team that's working together, it really makes a difference, a huge difference. So,
and it seems to me, I know it sounds so simple. It's not that easy, but it is pretty simple. You have to care about people. You have to not have scarcity mentality. I mean, I think sometimes they don't want the team to grow because they're going to be afraid they're going to lose this great assistant. Well, if you're a great clinician and you promote growth, you're going to find another great person to fill that spot. And, it's just about being generous with your heart, not so much with your pocketbook, because, they say when they do the surveys, they say basically everyone just wants a little bit more appreciation.
We just talked about that with Tammy yesterday. I don't know if you caught that, but Tammy was on, and we were just talking about those little pieces of appreciation go so far.
Yes.
And that's true in life too, really. I mean, why not carry that into the operatory, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's as a leader in your practice, there's so much that you can do to look back on your life and think you really accomplished something really valuable. I mean, on your, when they read your obituary, I mean, I supported people. I helped them grow. I mean, you have that opportunity as a dentist to do so many things, not only change smiles, but just people,
right. Right. And at the end of the day, that's what matters the most, I think.
Yeah. Yes, I think. And that's why I love Dental Entrepreneur, because I try to get them early, right? Let's get some of this information to you a little bit sooner than later.
Right.
Not that they're going to take it all, but you don't want to look back. The saddest thing is when people look back on their careers. And I do know a lot of hygienists, and because I'm a hygienist, I do get messages from them that are just so sad that their careers are ending through COVID for various reasons. They don't feel appreciated, and they're just sad. Like, what? I just did this for 45 years, and did it really matter, right? I mean, and I think that comes from leadership, to make sure that you let people know that they do matter. Right. It's a strong place to be from. And something that's a little easier to carry than, the monthly payments. I mean, honestly, it's just, if you grow yourself, I think you have to, it's true. You can't help other people grow if you're not growing. So that's where you come in, coaches. Right. I hear this so often, all the time, that what changed their lives and what was the catalyst? And it's usually hiring a coach, which I love because we have a lot of coaches in our DO community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that is just it's just an opportunity, and similar to DO community, where you have a conversation with someone where they're really tuned into you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And sometimes just having that person that's outside of your friend group, outside of your family group, that can really kind of just take a non-biased look into where you are and what's going on, right?
Yes,
that's so wonderful. And, DO offers that opportunity. I want to get to more about what DO is about. So tell us a little bit about if a person were to become a DO, join DO, what's it all involved? I mean, I know, but I'd love you to tell us.
Okay, well, I'd love to share. I mean, it's really simple. You just go to DO, it's on the bottom, dew.life, no.com, just .life. That's our website. And you just click on join the movement. And we have a little bit of a fee to pay for all the enormous stuff that we have to put this thing together.
It's so little. It's so little.
Yeah, thank you. We try to make it so affordable. And
so
honestly,
affordable.
I've said this before. We need to put something. If anybody really wants to join and they don't have the income, especially now, I mean, just let me know. I'm just, I'm happy to get a scholarship for you, or gift you a scholarship, because I really want it for everybody. I don't, I'm very inclusive. Everybody's welcome. Let's put it that way. And you join, and then we have a private Facebook page, which is fabulous, and everybody gets in there. You can post whatever you want in there, and it's just a wonderful, yummy group of females in dentistry that are trying to help each other. And we share sources and things like that, and we publish we have new blogs every week. We have new blogs on stories and great inside tips from influencers in the industry, influencers in the dental arena. So they all have been around. They know a lot. They love to write. They love to share. And everybody's got that in them. Everybody's got a story. So, and then we publish a magazine 4 times a year. And I wanted that to be yummy and something that you could take in the bathtub or on the beach or whatever. So we print some, but it goes out digitally. And we're having a retreat coming up, and that was incredible, because we were laughing when we first started it, Laura, that we thought, we'll get 12 people to come to this retreat. And that was, our first one was last November. We're going to have another one in November. So please, check that out. It's going to be it'll be somewhat live and virtual. We're going to have 2 components there. I just found out yesterday we have a cutoff. So we can only do 200 total. So we can have 100 live in the hotel with social distancing, and then only 100 on virtual, just because we want to make sure that everybody can collaborate in the Zoom rooms and all that. But the theme of the retreat is living your strengths. And there's a lot of different personality tests out there, but Strength Finders, when I took it and took the 8-week course with it, it changed my life. I mean, really? And I've taken so many things. I love all that kind of stuff, but this truly changed my life, changed my family's life. And I just remember that was my really initial goal for gathering women together in one room was just to share that. So we have two Gallup coaches that are on our retreat board, and they are teaching all about that, diving deep into strengths. And then we've got a 3-day, it's going to be a 3-day retreat on leadership, courage, confidence, business. I've got a wonderful keynote on Saturday morning that is, we're having a call on Thursday. I'm really excited. No one will know her. She's out of the dental arena.
Awesome.
But, just talking about business, because the other thing is I see we morphing into, women in business, in dentistry. It's really important for them to have a sound business and be able to sell their business someday, because there's not a man out there that's building his business. And again, I'm not bashing men. That's a good example, but they are building their business and they're going to sell their business. They're just not going to give it away.
Right.
This is serious stuff for all of us, because it's about mentoring the next generation to take over what we started.
Right.
And it's about our legacy. So what's it worth? What's it all worth? And together we can do anything. That's right.
That's right. That sounds absolutely phenomenal. And just like what so many women need right now, especially, and what a wonderful thing to do together, like you said. And I love the fact that you are doing both virtual and in person. I think that's wonderful, because that really opens the door for people.
Yes. And seriously virtual though, too. This is going to be funny. I did a 3-day virtual on the virtual event, and I literally sat in front of my computer for 3 days. But I felt engaged. I really did feel engaged. So we're hoping we're going to have some parameters. We want people to take it seriously, because what they're going to learn and the relationships that they're going to gain from being in this group. And again, everybody's welcome. We are not exclusive. Y'all are welcome. You got to make sure that we, live by the principles, which are really simple, just good things to live by. And I tell people, I made the principles up, but if you want to add some to it, go right ahead. I'm all open to that too. So I'm not like some amazing, person that can write a doc. But anyway,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
fun.
That is fun. It's November 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go to the retreat, do a little Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
And right.
Exactly. And have a little fun, because it's a great little hotel that is in the middle of a lot of stuff, so that they can do that. And I think we can social distance. Who knows? I mean, one day I think, oh, it's great. And the next day I'm like, oh, dang, they're canceling people so much. But it's up to God. I mean, honestly, I have a deep faith, and whoever shows up in that room is supposed to be there. Whoever signs up for us is supposed to be there. And, really it's about love and acceptance, and my little thing that I want to share. At this point, when you get to have this long career, it's like, okay, I don't really have anything to lose at this point. I just have more to give. I think
more to give. Isn't that something? Yeah, you are an incredible giver, and I'd love to. We were talking about balance, and I said you have such a strong faith. And that's probably something. Tell us a little bit about how that brings balance to your life.
Well, I grew up a devout Catholic and married my husband, who is a devout Catholic. And I am one of those Catholics that, I don't believe in everything of the Catholic Church, but, and I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for that. But it's been my core. So how I start my day with balance is I get up, I'll have a little coffee. I go to daily mass. I love to go to daily mass, and it's a half an hour. We're doing it social distancing at the church, or you can watch it online, but Tom and I go together. And then I do a little exercise too, when I get home. But to me, I think that just that's my mindset in the morning. So it's similar to, I know so many, meditation, reading spiritual, or just mindset, tracks will set your mind to have a good outlet, or outlook, I should say, And so that just keeps me going. I mean, if I didn't have that to draw from, I do believe in miracles. I've had quite a few in my life. And I think if you look around, everybody has had miracles. And I love my faith. I do love my faith. I like sharing it. And we have a Faith-Filled Friday every Friday at 3:00. So sometimes someone will join me, sometimes they won't. I'm going to try to get more organized like you, Lori. I just told you this the other day. You're so organized. It's wonderful. But we had Dr. Laura Mock on, and she's agnostic. And I mean, I love learning about different faiths and how people bring faith into their lives, because whether it's a Christian faith or a Muslim or a Hindu or whatever, or you have no faith and no belief in a higher power, or you don't know, you still have faith in yourself. And how do you do it? I'm always interested in that, because I think we can learn from each other. So no judgment on that. But I'm not afraid to let people know, what I do. I think, no one's asked me that before, but thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I think that's, I love that you're so open about it, because you just never know when you affect somebody. And by being open about something that's so deeply important to you, is being true to yourself. You are living your authentic self. And so that inspires maybe others that haven't gotten to that point in their life, or maybe are curious. And so I think that's just wonderful. And I think it's one of the best things that keeps us going. It's believing in something bigger than us.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know how people do it without it. Honestly, I really don't. It's always a curious thing for me, but and it's really, I don't even know. It's not about religion. It's just about what floats your boat, I think. I mean, and then it's all about love. I mean, all stems from love and acceptance.
Yes, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, we should probably wrap it up here, but I just want to touch again on, please find Anne. You can find her at do.life. And you can find her online. If you are on Facebook, she is on Facebook. She is super good at getting back to you, connecting, loving you, and making sure that you are able to do whatever you want to do. So,
oh yes, I love that. Just do it, everybody. And I'll just say this one quick thing, Laura. If you've reached out to me and your email got slipped by me, don't think anything. I would never want that to happen. Okay, so reach out again. And so many gals have said, I want to write, and then they think, well, I'm not a writer. I'm like, that's when I say, get a margarita, get a hot cup of tea, get a pen, and then and say a prayer, okay? And then let it flow.
Yes. Yes. So that's a really great point. We all have stories in us. We all have value to give. And so why not put it pen to paper and put it into one of the publications? You never know who you'll reach. You never know who you'll inspire. You never know who you may help. And so Anne would love to hear your story and be open to putting you in one of her publications. So
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me so much. I'm so glad we know each other.
I know. And congratulations on a phenomenal career that is just getting started, really. I mean, 45 years in hygiene and still making a difference in the dental world and just the world in general. So congratulations to you. You're an amazing person.
Thank you, Laura. So are you. Appreciate it so much.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you. And everyone, I will put all of Anne's contacts in the comments below so that it's easy, clickable. You can find it right away there. All right. Thanks so much, Anne.
Thank you.
You bet. Cheers.
Cheers.